Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. I'm Johnny A-Frames. If you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe to my channel. Let's move on with your first track day. First off, congratulations. You're gonna have a blast. It is so much better than riding on the streets with cars, police, stop signs, all the hazards that we have out there when we do go riding on the street. So let's talk about the things that you're going to need and also what to expect when you arrive at the track. So first, let's talk about the things that you're going to need when you go to the track to make your track day a little bit more enjoyable. The first thing I pack is obvious, but people have forgotten this. It's your key. So put this in your cup holder, in your glove box, or in your armrest, somewhere that isn't gonna fall out on your way to the track or get lost somehow. You don't want that happening. However, if it does happen, there's a few things that you can do to maybe save your track day. One of the first things I kind of thought about was you could drive back home, or you could have somebody, a friend, bring you your key at the track. The second thing you can do, if you know a person there or people there, you can ask to ride one of their bikes. You would obviously have to ride in a different class than they are. Another thing you could do is, if you get lucky, maybe there's a company there, like Yamaha, for example, demoing bikes. So what you could do is you could go over, and they usually bring about 4 to 5 bikes. You could register to ride each one of those bikes. Maybe tell them that you're interested in buying a Yamaha, and maybe they'll let you borrow them or ride them multiple times. That be the case, you won't miss out on that many sessions. So that's all that I could think of to do if you would forget your key, but pack it first, you won't forget it. The next thing that you're gonna pack is your gear. So your helmet, your gloves, your leathers, and your boots. Another thing that you should pack is your base layer that you wear under your leather, your riding socks, and that's pretty much all that you're gonna need. I would usually use a dark shield when I'm out there, or if you do have a clear shield, wear sunglasses. It tends to be pretty bright out there because there's usually no shade on the track anyway. So, and then what I do is I load up the bike. I have a pickup truck, so what I particularly like to do is I put the bike off to one side, not all the way, but just off center, and then I pack the rest of the stuff that I'm going to take on the other side of the bike, and maybe only have the gas on the side with the less amount of room. Getting to the rest of the stuff that you'll need, you're gonna need to take a sun tent, possibly a sleeping tent if you do plan to stay at the track, and you're gonna wanna pack a table, something to put your helmet on, your gloves on, your food on, things like that. If you do have a pickup truck, I guess you could probably just use the tailgate. That's what I use, although I do bring a table as well. You'll find that the tailgate, the space on it gets taken up relatively quick with just a few things on them. And then you're gonna pack your tools. Take all the tools you need to take off possibly your rear axle, your front axle, your plastics, any tools that you may need to adjust your brake cable or clutch cable if that's what you have. anything that you think you might need to have to work on the bike. And getting to that, I don't advise bringing your bike to the track with work to be done on it. That's just going to be another layer of stress that you're going to cause yourself. And you want your track day to be as stress-free as possible. So, and then what you're going to pack is your food and your water. I typically take a 5-gallon jug of water. I'll usually bring home maybe a gallon or 2, depending on how hot it is, what time of the year I'm going. I went with a group of 8 people before. I brought the 5-gallon of water. I came home with about a gallon during that trip. So, and that was on top of drinking electrolyte drinks, Gatorade, drinks like that. Pretty much that is it for the things that you're going to need. Here's what to expect when you get to the track. So you're going to register with the track itself. If you're in Southern California, 2 nearest tracks to San Diego or LA is Chuckwalla and Buttonwillow. There's another one too, but that tends to be, there's Apex, which tends to be for more of a supermoto or a smaller CC bike. The other 2 tracks you can ride as big as bike as you want. So you'll pay the registration fee at the gate. At Buttonwillow, the fee's $10. At Chuckwalla, the fee is $20 per person. They'll give you your wristband, you'll go find your parking spot, and then what you're gonna do is unload your bike. And ramps, I forgot about that earlier. You're gonna need ramps, definitely if you plan to go to Chuckwalla. They don't have a permanent ramp set up to back a pickup truck up to unload your bike. At Buttonwillow, they do, at least the last time that I was there, which was this past September 2024. So I imagine they still do, but just to be safe, bring your ramps. If you would forget your ramps, there may still be one at Buttonwillow, I'm sure that it is, or you can borrow ramps off of somebody there. After you unload your bike, you're gonna wait for rider registration to open up. As soon as they open up, I roll over there and sign in. That way I don't have to wait in a long line to sign up. After that, you're gonna wait for either the inspection or the riders meeting. We'll do one of those 2 things next. Usually it's inspection, depends on who's running it. So then, whatever one they do, if they do inspection, you're gonna ride over, they're gonna take a look at your bike, they're gonna make sure that your mirrors are either off or taped up, they're gonna make sure that your lights are taped up, they're gonna make sure that your license plate is off. You don't have to take the bracket off, but usually they want you to take the plate off. So go ahead and take that off before you ride over there. They're gonna check to make sure that you don't have any loose bolts on the bike. They're gonna check your chain tension. They're gonna take a look at your tires. And that's pretty much it. They'll check your levers also. And that's pretty much it. They'll give you your sticker, and then you'll wait for the riders meeting. Whenever they call the riders meeting, go over there and they're gonna explain how the day is gonna run, and then they're gonna explain flags. So with the flags, they'll use a green flag, green go, everything's good. They'll have a yellow flag, caution. They'll let you know what they want you to do. Usually they have you pull off the track and hopefully you can get back on, finish out your session. They have a red flag. That usually means something is either on the track or somebody crashed. A lot of times somebody crashed. The black flag. If they point a black flag at you, that means you did something wrong. They'll give you instructions on this. You're gonna pull off the track. You're gonna tell you what you did wrong, and then they'll usually let you go right back on. And then there's the checkered flag. So as soon as you see that, you'll do your last lap. If you're coming across the finish line, you'll do your last lap and you wait for your next session. They'll explain to you the riding rules out there, the passing rules. So let's talk about that first. A and B group, they allow you to pass on the inside of a bend even when the person has already tipped in to go through the bend. So they'll allow inside passing. What they don't want is dangerous inside passes where you're a foot away from somebody and you're cutting on the inside of them. They don't want that. Remember, it's not a race. So that's A class and B class. C class, they don't allow passing on the inside. So when you're coming up to a bend, if the person has already tipped in, you're not allowed to tip in and take over on the inside. So they don't want that. It's only outside passing. And then they'll explain possibly bends that they don't want you passing in at all. That is at Chuckwalla. There's a series of bends. They'll explain it. They'll go over they have a nice map of the track and they go over where these bends are. Once you do your sighting lap, you'll see that why they're telling people they don't want passes in those couple of bends. That's pretty much all of it. They'll explain how the day is going to run. So if they start at 8 o'clock, what they'll do is A group will ride from 8 to 8:20, and then from 8:20 to 8:40 will be B group. C group will ride 8:40 to the top of the hour. And then that repeats the whole morning, and then they break for lunch. After lunch, they restart. They usually do lunch for about a half an hour. And then A group will ride first, B, and then C. And they'll repeat that until the last session of the day, depending on what time of the year it is. If it's now, it would probably be a 4 or 5 o'clock session, possibly. It just depends on how much light there is. They'll let you know. Other than that, that is pretty much it. They want you to be safe out there. They don't want dicey things happening to cause crashes. So on that, ride with your head. Don't try and ride above your ability too far. It's kind of nice because you are going to be doing a bunch of laps. So you'll get to go through these bends a lot of times, and naturally what happens is you start out a little bit slower, and then each session you just naturally kind of get faster and faster and faster until you hit after lunchtime. You usually start to get mentally fatigued from going fast, just basically all day. So you'll get a little mental fatigue and maybe even some physical fatigue depending on the condition that you're in. So try not to overgrip. And that's all. You're gonna have a great time. Try not to be too nervous and don't ride over your ability. You'll get to see a range of abilities out there, and don't be intimidated by that. It's not that bad, and you're gonna have a good time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.